Hello everyone, the Klaus here, and today guys I'm going to review a LEGO Hero Factory set released in 2011 as part of the second wave called Savage Planet, if I'm correct, I think. And today I'm going to review a Titan, one of the 3 Titans released in this second wave, and it's going to be the biggest one because it's going to be Witch Doctor, the evil guy from this second wave, which kind of enslaved all the savage beasts of the jungle planet Quattros, and of course that the hero must defeat. So you can see the box is quite big because it's also a quite high-priced set. I think it costs like between 30 and 35 euros or dollars. So of course we're going to have the LEGO Hero Factory logo, the name with the doctor, the age condition, the set number, the damaged lime green border here and there, as you can see, and of course Witch Doctor in all its glory on the front picture of the box. You can also notice the background with the jungle and also all his controlled savage beasts. So for example, you can see some Wojo, some Scorpio, some Waspix, and even some Fangs right there, so all the savage beasts released as sets. As you can see, the pictures continues on this side. On the upper side you will see a 1:1 picture scale of the Witch Doctor's face. And then on the back, a little comics books, comic strip, which explain you the story of this new wave, so Witch Doctor's attack. The Hero Factory control center is alerted, then they send some heroes to Quattros, which is being destroyed. And as you can see, we have some nice fight scene between Witch Doctor and Articulations, and I really hope that we have this battle scene, this final battle scene, in the upcoming episode. Then you also see how the Zamor launcher works, or Tornax launcher with a Zamor sphere works, and as you can see, a little picture of the Witch Doctor's head in a logo form. That's all for the box. Now time to move on to the instruction booklet. Here we go, so excuse me, right there. So nothing really to talk about. You build this guy in, I think, 36 steps, without counting the sub-steps, of course. Then you have the parts list right there. A fight scene between Scorpio and Stormer 3.0, plus an ad for the DVD, which is a sum up of all the 4 first episodes of the CGI series. Then you have a double page of ads for the Hero Factory website with the comic builder, the quick crusher game, and stuff like that. Then an ad for the Hero Recon Team website, which allows you to build and buy your own hero. And then you have the win page with the screaming kid that we all love. Well, at least I think. And now it's time to move on to the set itself, and first the body frame. And let me first say that all this Titan set, in fact all this guy, it is mostly custom parts, and that's the case with the body, because you can see the body is not made or is not based around a already made body frame, so the one used by the heroes, or even the one used by Scorpio or Articulations, the one with the ball joints. No, here as you can see it's all custom, and how it works, well, it's quite simple, because we are going to make the frame with these technique beams. As you can see, on these technique beams we're going to link 3 ball joints, as you can see, 3 wet ball joints. Also notice that there are in total 39 wed ball joints, so it's quite useful for mockers. And these 2 ball joints will be used to put some armors, and this one will be used to put, as you can see, the neck. Then you can also see this part right there, which will be useful to link these connectors, which will come in handy to attach the arms later on. Notice this light gray parts here, which you will see throughout the model, for example right there also, and which will be quite useful. So notice the 2 connectors, and then we're going to have the same type of things for the waist part, as you can see, with this time 3 connectors. Once again, you will have many connectors in this set, so for those who want this type of parts, there's new connectors, bulkier than the previous one. It will be a nice set to have. You can also notice that these 2 parts are not the same. It's quite weird, and I don't really know why they choose to put different parts, because it also works with the same parts, so well, it's a little ugly, but well, that is just the frame. And now we're going to complete this part with first this Maui hosepipe in white, which is really a nice recolor. So remember, these parts were first introduced in 2007, at least in the Bionicle scene, with the Toa Maui set. and here they comes in white, which is quite cool. So we're going to use this light gray part to put, this part, which will act as a whip cage, in fact, as some skeleton parts, some bones part, in fact, as you can see. Now I'm going to put the front armor, which is in fact based on two armors. This one that you already know by now, because it was first released in the first wave, and this one, which is a new part from the second wave of Hero Factory 2011, and also it's a new recolor because it was just released in black and silver, for example in Next and in Stringer, and here it comes in white, so an exclusive recolor to this set. There we go. And now we just have to link, if I'm correct, so let me just look on the instruction booklet quickly. Excuse me. And here we go, we have to link this type of parts which were already with before in the Ben 10 subtheme, so nothing really new, but here they come in white, and they will be linked on these parts. And I think that's quite all for the body frame. Yeah, I think that's quite all. As you can see, because the armors are linked on two ball joints, it prevents the two armors from moving on themselves, so it works quite nice. And now we're going to talk about the legs. And here we go. Excuse me, first I'm going to talk about a really important thing, excuse me. Guys, just have to find my part. This is this thing. As you can see, it's a big, it's a connector with tons of ball joints. And what this part is used for? Well, it will be used as what I call an intermediate point of connection. And that will be really useful because this model, this set, is based on this intermediate point of articulations, which really helps a lot to build, to make the model move. And so, excuse me. So yeah, so for example, we're going to use that on the leg, as you can see. It will be linked, if I'm correct, like that, as you can see. 3 ball joints, 3 connector, and here we go. And now, I'm going to put the leg itself on this ball joints right there. So that's how this intermediate point of connections works. And now for the legs, so excuse me guys for this problem that I forget, but it's better to show you this type of things first. So you can see it's quite simple because we're going to use mostly large and long bones, as you can see. You can also notice the third connector right there, which will be useful, of course, to link to the third ball joint. It is linked on the side. You can notice this part, which is helpful to make the leg work stronger and to make the leg stand well, and to make the leg carry easily the weight of the upper side of the body. And for the waist, well, you have one bone like that, and as you can see, it's quite like a Z shape, as you can see, or a S shape. So it works this way. Notice this point of connection. There's two bones right there, well, on the two sides, which it's mostly a design element because it's not really that useful, except for linking these two parts right there in a more efficient way. So we have this part is linked right there. You can notice this part on the back, which is helpful to link together these two long bones. And then we're going to have once again an intermediate point of connection. So as you can see, a connector with ball joints, and then we have the foot itself, which look like that. And now, of course, it's time to put some armors on this thing because it looks a little empty. First, we're going to use this part, which was first released in Stormer 2.0 in the first wave. It will be linked this way. Then we're going to put some of those armors that you already know, plus 3 little spikes on the side. It will be put on this side, and of course it will be helpful to cover the emptiness of the frame, of the leg frame. Then we have the foot, which needs to be completed, excuse me, with 2 parts. First, this one that you once again already know, and I think this part is used like 5 times in this set. So once again, a nice section of parts. It will be linked. It will be right there used as an heel, if I'm correct. And then this armor, which will be linked on this ball joint. And here we go, the leg is finished. And in fact, it's the left one. And now I'm going to link the leg on this 3 ball joints that I showed you earlier. And it works just fine, I think. Yes, it works. So now the second leg, excuse me guys, which will be linked on this side. And here we go with the lower part of the body with the 2 legs and the body frame. So now it's time to link the arm. And well, it works quite the same. First, we're going to use, as you can see, an intermediate point of connection, which is made with ball joints and connectors once again. And it will be linked, excuse me guys, it will be linked on this side. Like that. And now we're going to talk about the arm. And in fact, the 2 arms are different, but we'll see that later on. So first, the left arm, as you can see, it's once again made with bones part, nothing really interesting. Notice there's 2 connectors which are linked on this intermediate ball joint. It will be useful to put some parts here and there on this ball joint. Then as you can see, we have the more bones, then the connectors, and 2 Wojo tusks which are used on this set. So new parts from 2000 from this wave, but not a new recolor. And then the usual Tornax launcher. But of course it needs some armor, so first we're going to put, if I'm correct, once again this type of parts here, and then this armor plus a quadza spike, which is a new part from this wave, and of course it is the black and red with red fade color, and you can see the red is a little transparent at the end of the spike. It will be linked on the red ball joint, and it will be used as a shoulder pad, if I can say so. It will be used for shoulder pad. Armor right there on this side. Then this part that you already know. And finally, the armor, which is red. And the left arm is complete. So now I'm going to link that on the side. And now for the right arm, there is nothing really different except the fact that this time, as you can see, he has a real end, so a white one, nothing really new. And also we're going to link his weapon, which is a sept. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but it's a scepter or something called like that. It's the same word as in French, by the way, but it's not the same pronunciation, obviously, so I don't really know how to pronounce that, so excuse me for that. But well, here's the frame, you can see, with an axle, some spikes, the same light gray part that we already see before. This type of 3 axle parts, which are quite useful to put the ball joint in this way. And now we're going to link some armors with quadza spikes. So in fact, 4 quadza spikes in total in this set. It will be linked on the sides, like that. And finally, I'm going to link an armor plus the Witch Doctor's head, which is of course an exclusive mold. So of course it's linked on the armor part thanks to these 2 points of connection. Oh, excuse me for the light, guys. It's a little brutal, I think. But that's because I use artificial light. And well, here we go. Looks like that. And as you can see, in fact, it's a little, it's not really that tall because we're just going to link this part, and here we go. It's not like it's used a long axle or anything like that, no. So we're going to put this part here. And finally, once again, an armor plus a Witch Doctor's head, and it will be linked on the neck section up there. And that's all. Witch Doctor is finished. Oh, excuse me, guys. I'm going to maybe adjust the legs of this guy, and then I will do a little turn around, talk about the articulations, and that will be the sum up, and I will do the sum up, of course, of this set. So what's to like, what's not to like. And in fact, that will be then all for our Hero Factory 3.0 reviews, because for now I do not own Fangs, which is the third Savage Beast, so well, no more reviews of 3.0 after this guy. Or at least not after maybe August, if I find the set in some toy shops. And so that said, here we go for the turnaround. Then we're going to talk about the articulation. So first, let's begin with the legs. I'm going to put off the Zamor so it will be easier to show you without this thing falling off constantly. So first we have the waist part, and like I said, because of the intermediate articulations, you can move the leg on the sides without any problem. So like that, as you can see, it will move up to this point. So 90 degrees, if I can say so. And then we have the articulations of these butt joints, which can move up to this point. And once again, it will be 90 degrees. But once again, you have to know that this set is mostly 90 degrees for all its articulations. So up to this point, and then for the knees, I can move this thing down up to 90 degrees, you can see once again. Then you have the feet, which are once again based on intermediate articulation, so I can move these things on the side without any problems, and it's quite helpful to make the model stand. And then up to this point, if you can move the armor a little on the side, and like that. So no big problems for the feet. So that's all for the legs. Now we have the arms, which once again can be moved on the side, as you can see, well, up and down, up to this point. And then we have these articulations here, and you can move these things up to this point. But of course, by combining the two, you can do this type of stuff, for example, without any problems. Excuse me if you can't really see that well, but it works nicely. Then you have the elbow, which blocks at 90 degrees once again because of the armor. You have the hand, which do not really have any big problems, even if because of the tusks used right there, it is sometimes hard to put the weapon the way you want, but it's okay. Of course, this thing is mounted on a butt joint, so you can move the shoulder pad the way you want. You can also fire this thing with just your 2 fingers, like that. And the same can be said for the second arms. In fact, it's the same type of articulations, and there is no problem with the hand, of course, this time, because there is no big tusks on the sides. Then you have the neck, which is mounted on 2 butt joints, if I'm correct, so you can move these things on the side without any problem. Move this thing up if you want. Right. Excuse me. Right there, so no big problems at all with the head. You can only move this the way you want. Like that. I'm going to do now a little pause, and that will be all for this review. Well, that will be all, of course, with a little sum up to end the video, to conclude the video. So excuse me, I'm going to try to pose him like that, and yeah, I think it looks pretty cool like that. So I'm going to just move my webcam right there, and here we go. So which doctor? So first, the color shape. So the color shape, as you can see, it's mostly red, white, and black, and it looks really great. Of course, you have some touches of dark gray and light gray, plus some silver colors used here and there, but it's mostly white, black, and white, and it really looks good in my opinion. Plus, also, it's pretty well mixed together. You have white on most of the parts, but you have blacks for all the bones and stuff like that. So it works quite nice. Maybe they could have just maybe just the red on this part right there looks a little out of place. Maybe they should have just put this part in black and the little one in red, because here it looks quite strange if you compare with the legs, which are mostly black, and here it's a little red from out of nowhere. But apart from that, it's a pretty good color scheme which works just fine. Then you have the part selection, which is just great because of course you have a lot of bones part, plus you have 39 web versions from 2006. Of course it's when it's not black, but at least it can still be useful for mockers. You also have many parts, like 7 parts like that, this type of body in white, which is quite cool. 8 spikes, many armors like that, many parts like that, also 5 if I'm correct. 2 witch doctor's head, this type of spikes, 2 new recolored white Maui hosepipe, 4 quasar spikes. So overall, plus 2 tusks also. So overall, it's really a great set for parts. We got some tons of interesting parts which can be quite useful for mods. Then you have the construction, which is really interesting because, like I said, it's mostly custom elements. So of course, the arms and legs use mostly bones and put some armors on them, like other Hero Factory Titans from the 2011 wave. Yeah, excuse me. But apart from that, the body is really interesting because it's all custom made, and this new type of intermediate articulations are really cool to build and to see how they work. And apart from that, well, the construction, like I said, the construction is really cool because you build custom elements and all the parts work pretty well together. Plus, this thing is also quite big. You have to admit. Maybe I have a hero on my desk. Well, here's a little comparison with Furno. So obviously, the guy here is a little bended, but seriously, Witch Doctor is really a tall guy, really a big guy, and it's really cool to see an impressive Hero Factory Evil Titan. So really the building is also great. Then you have the articulations, and well, most of the articulations, I have to admit, block at 90 degrees, which is not that good, but still with the intermediate point of connection, it really adds to the overall articulation because you can only move the parts the way you want. There is no big problems. You can move the arms on the back, you can move the legs on the back, on the front, and stuff like that. So seriously, it works well, even if it's a little limited, because it will mostly blocks at at 90 degrees. So yeah, a little bad, but apart from that, it's really good, and it's really nice to have this internet points of connection. I really hope that we see them more often in the future Hero Factory Titan set, because I think they're really useful and they really help to play with it and to play with the Titan easily. For example, not like Woka XL, which just can't move his arms on the back, which is really a big problem. So here there was no problem with for this Titan on this point. But it still blocks at 90 degrees on some occasion. Well, on most occasion, but you can, well, at least you can move it easily. That's what I want to say. And finally, the overall design of the set, well, like I said, it's pretty great. So you have some problem, obviously. So for example, let's talk about problems. The fact that even if I guess it's supposed to represent kind of like a skinny guy, it's still a little ugly to see these big blocky parts for the hips. Yes, hips or waist. Right there, it's really blocky and it's quite ugly. Plus the fact that they used 2 different parts here and there, and it's quite also ugly. Then you also have a little empty space right there, which is a little meh, but it's not the big problems. You can also complain about the arms, which, as you can see, are a little blocky because they do like that. And here we go. As you can see, it's a little weird. It's not really that good looking. And apart from that, I think that's quite all. Also, you can maybe complain about the fact that the scepter is not really long enough because they just use a little axle here and not a long one. But well, it looks okay like that, and I think you will get used to this type of shape by the time you buy it and you play with this guy. And apart from this complaint, well, it's really good looking. In fact, apart from the complaints I mentioned, it's really good looking. First, you can mention all the spikes here, which kind of look like excuse me, the Woka XL spikes, but as you can see, it's a little different shape. So really, it really helps to make the model more impressive and good looking also. I like the scepter. I also like really the legs with these big parts on the side, which really helps to cover the empty spaces. This white part right there. The front armor is really good looking with the Maui hosepipe, which kind of looks like a rib cage with this type of bones used right there on the side. Really looks good. The launcher got also a nice design, even if it's blocks on some occasions. And overall, it's, like I said, quite impressive. So a quite big title. And if you want my final words, I'm really pleased with this Titan set, because this is really the first time that we have a Titan in Hero Factory with the 2.0 parts of Hero Factory. That impressive, because Fire Lord was really a disappointment on many points. For example, the fact that his hips, if I'm correct, were really empty. It was really empty, not impressive at all, quite blocky. Then we got Rocket XL, which really got an interesting and impressive design, but still got some problems from Fire Lord. For example, the articulations on the shoulders, which are just a big joke from Lego. And finally, we got Witch Doctor. So of course, it is not perfect. His articulations blocks are 30 degrees. In terms of designs, there is some empty space or some blocky elements, which kind of looks bad. But which kind of look, bad. But apart from that, it's a great Titan, because first, it's impressive. It's an evil guy. He is big. He is mean. He's got a real interesting design with tons of spikes, nice molds, full of interesting parts, and the construction is interesting. Plus, it used some customs elements. So overall, for me, it's really a great set. Of course, it's not that cheap. I think it costs like $10 more than Rocket XL, but it's really good in my opinion. So not perfect, but at least it's really refreshing to finally see a true Hero Factory 2.0 Titans, which really use buttons, connectors, stuff like that, bones parts, armor parts, and really is really interesting to build and really interesting to look at. So Rocket XL was really good, and I think Witch Doctor is as good as Rocket XL, even maybe better with this type of articulations. And I really think that these two ones are really good looking, and they really is a really great Hero Factory Titans. And I think that's really times to it, because Von Nebula was quite interesting, but it really got some big problems, like the lack of articulations on the elbows, which was once again really a big joke, plus the frame, the body frame, which was also full of holes. Fire Lord, like I said, was a first try with the 2.0 part. It was not that big of a success. It was still a nice try, but not that good. And finally, we got Witch Doctor, which is really great. So I just hope that they keep on evolving and really make really great Titans from 2012. And in fact, I really hope that they make great Hero Factory for 2012, because I have to say that as a little sum up, this second wave of 2011 is really a great wave. All the heroes are different and unique, and really each of them are really cool and good looking. All the bad guys are really different and give you some nice elements and stuff like that. And finally, the Titans are really a welcome step up from the previous iterations of Hero Factory Titans. So yes, obviously, I really hope that Legos keep on evolving for 2012, because it will really be a great year, because this second wave of 2011 was really a big step up in the right way. So that said, I hope you enjoy this video review, guys. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them. I will happily answer them. And also, I hope you enjoyed all this 2011 3.0 reviews, guys, because, well, I just hope you enjoyed them. And there's also comments, questions, feel free to ask them. And that said, hope you enjoy this review, and that said, see you later for another video review. Bye bye!